Today is the all-important shakedown ride of my new Transition Sentinel. So I demoed a Transition Sentinel last fall, but this is mine, and it's been in my garage for a couple months. I just haven't ridden it yet because I haven't had any mountain trips coming up. This bike is way overkill for my local trails, which is where I'm riding today. And I just got to get it set up. I'm a little late this year in getting up to the mountains. So once the weather warms up, I head up to North Georgia, North Carolina, like all through the summer to ride. And I'm heading up this coming week. So I've got to get this bike dialed. So I've got my Allen wrench and I've got my shock pump with me, and I've just got to get it set up because when I hit the mountains this week, I don't want to be fiddling with the bike. So man, shakedown rides are so important to get the saddle height, the suspension set up, levers, all that. I mean, you stop like 10 times to get the bike adjusted on your first ride. And again, when I get up to the mountains, I don't want to do that. So let's go out on a ride on my local trails and get this bike dialed in. Before I even got out of the parking lot, I already made like a bunch of adjustments. So saddle height is the most crucial adjustment for me for a new bike, and also takes the most time, because with these new like ultra steep seat tube angle bikes, for some reason I have to run my saddle lower. And also these 510 shoes, I have to run my saddle lower. I guess the cleat is more recessed. So I am 7 millimeters lower on the saddle than I was on my previous Transition Sentinel, which is kind of weird. And then I had to adjust the saddle tilt. So it feels good. And the brake levers, the reach. I love the adjustment dials on the brake levers where you don't need a tool. You can just turn it. Most of them are like that today. But there was a time when you had to use an Allen wrench to adjust the reach of your brake levers. On this bike, I'm probably gonna run my Garmin Fenix 8 watch on the handlebars. I like the really small form factor. I can't say enough good things about this Fenix 8. My wife and I went kayaking yesterday out on Crystal River, which is an absolute epic kayak. You've got this huge bay. If you're not familiar with Crystal River, this huge bay that goes out into the ocean, but it's all spring fed. So it's clear water, fresh water. And you can just paddle around this huge bay, go into a few springs, get out, swim around. Just epic. But yeah, I use the watch for that. And then the next day, just to put it on the handlebars as a mountain bike computer. So good. On this climb here, it's about, I don't know, 7-8%. I really like the steep seat tube angle on this bike for these climbs, but it does feel weird on cross-country trails. I don't think seat tube angles can get any steeper. If they get any steeper, we're gonna be putting saddles on our stems. But I get it, you know, for rides where you're either climbing or descending, it's nice to have that steep seat tube angle to keep the front end under control. And stopping to adjust the thumb lever for the dropper post and the brake levers. You know, here's a little rant. It's time for the bike industry to adopt either full Torx or full Allen wrenches. Man, I can't stand when a bike has both, but it's just every bike does now. I'm glad I had this Crank Brothers multi-tool that had a Torx wrench. I brought another Allen wrench with me, but it didn't have a Torx wrench. It was all Allen. So, all right, little rant. Let's keep going. You know, just hitting these short little downhills that we have here, I forgot how fun this bike is on downhills, man. It's been like 7 months since I've returned the demo to Transition. This bike is just, it just soaks everything up. This bike will be overkill for a lot of the trails I'm going to be riding on this upcoming trip. This is my Pisgah bike. I love riding Pisgah, especially on a bike like this. It's a good little climb here. You can see that tree. There's quite a few of those trees down, big trees that fell from the hurricane last year. That was a brutal, brutal storm. Probably mentioned it like 5 times in my videos. It's very traumatic. Speaking of Pisgah, They still haven't recovered from the hurricane that hit up there. Same one that knocked these trees down. That's probably the most devastating hurricane I've ever seen. As far as widespread destruction, it was just brutal. I cannot wait to get this thing up in the mountains. There's a little friend joining me on my ride this morning. What's up, dude? These things are so used to bikes, they don't flinch. I rode right by this guy. Look, he's right on the trail. He didn't even flinch. This is my first bike that I've owned that has a Fidlock water bottle system. I like it. Once you get the hang of it, you can put it back on the bike in just half a second. It's great, but it has a little cap on it. It's just a pain to kind of get the cap off, you know, before you drink it. I'm gonna completely remove it from the water bottle. That Transition Sentinel is so fun to ride. Even on these local cross-country trails. I am so stoked about getting out on this bike coming up this week and through the summer. It's gonna be awesome. Man, it's hot out here. Well, it's humid. You know, I mentioned in some of my videos last year that my heat tolerance has gone down, but I realized this week it's not heat tolerance, it's humidity tolerance. I was out here 2 days ago. It was 96 degrees, but the humidity was only 27%. I barely sweated. I felt like I could ride all day. No problem at all. This morning, it's probably upper 70s, but super humid, and it's much worse. Am I complaining? I want to ride. So today is bike shakedown day, water bottle shakedown day, and also camera shakedown day. So I'm trying something new with this Insta360 Ace Pro 2. I'm shooting an iLog. I've downloaded the LUT from Insta360's website. I'm gonna just try this out, see how the image quality is. So you're seeing it after color grading in DaVinci Resolve. It's for all of you camera nerds out there like me. I'm really liking this camera. Really liking it. I'm not sponsored by Insta360. They've never paid me. They have sent me some cameras, including this one, but they have never paid me to make a review. They also sent me the Insta360 X5, their 360 camera, the newest one. I've just gotten it, been testing it out, comparing it to this camera on these trails, and I've got some thoughts on it. So I'll be testing it on this trip coming up. And after that trip, I'm gonna tell you what my thoughts are on that camera. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. New bike shakedown rides take patience, but they can still be fun. And I definitely had fun this morning on the Transition Sentinel. Overkill for these trails, but it's mountain biking. Still a blast. All right. Well, thanks for hanging with me on this shakedown ride. And stay tuned to the channel for new bike day up in the mountains. This isn't new bike day. This is shakedown day. New bike day is coming. All right. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so for gear reviews, bike reviews, tech reviews, and of course ride videos, like a few coming up. All right, see ya.